The internet wasn't ready for this. In fact, nobody was. Because overnight, while most people were asleep, Candace Owens dropped something so explosive, so dangerously unpredictable, that the political world is still scrambling to figure out what it even means. The moment the post hit her private channel, insiders started panicking, group chats froze, and Charlie Kirk's entire circle reportedly went silent. It wasn't just drama. It was a detonation. A nuclear-level leak that immediately raised one terrifying question no one ever thought they'd hear in connection with Charlie. Why is foreign surveillance involved? People close to Candace claim she didn't even blink before hitting send. She wasn't hesitating. She wasn't worried. She wanted this out. And the moment her message dropped, whispers started flying. She knows something. She has receipts. Charlie's been hiding this for months. And whether those whispers were right or wrong didn't even matter, because the damage was already done. Screenshots leaked within minutes. Anonymous usernames began analyzing everything frame by frame. Even rival commentators, people who never agree on anything, paused their own feuds to stare at the same shocking detail buried inside Candace's post. Something foreign. Something covert. Something Charlie definitely didn't want the world seeing. And if you think this is just another influencer beef, think again. Because according to one insider who contacted a private right-wing gossip page an hour later, this leak is allegedly tied to an unexpected trail that doesn't lead back to TPUSA, but far outside the US entirely. A trail that includes encrypted calls, unusual travel logs, and a strange digital breadcrumb that has people wondering if Charlie Kirk has been watched for far longer than anyone knew. And Candace? She's not denying it. She's not clarifying it. She's not deleting the post. She's doubling down. And what she said next, what she hinted at, makes this leak look like the beginning of something even darker. And trust me, once you hear what she exposed, you will never look at Charlie Kirk the same way again. The moment Candace's post detonated across social media, people started digging. Not just into what she said, but into why she said it now. Because this wasn't random. This wasn't accidental. This wasn't a slip-up or a heat-of-the-moment rant. This felt calculated, almost like she'd been waiting for the perfect opportunity to hit Charlie where it hurts the most. And to understand just how dangerous this moment truly is, we need to go back, way back, to the beginning of this tangled, bitter, silently boiling rivalry that's been building behind the scenes for years. Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens were never as close as their public photos made them seem. People think they were best friends, allies, partners in the same conservative empire. But insiders swear something was always off. They weren't equals. They weren't aligned. They were two massive personalities forced into the same room, the same stage, the same camera frame. And every time they stood next to each other, you could feel the tension. Charlie craved control. Candace craved independence. Charlie wanted obedience. Candace wanted audience. So the moment one of them got too powerful, too loud, too unpredictable, the alliance started cracking. But it didn't start with a fight. It started with a secret. Years ago, long before this surveillance rumor even existed, Candace reportedly saw something that made her step back from Charlie. Something she couldn't unsee. At the time, everyone brushed it off as drama. Just two egos clashing. But according to someone who worked backstage at a TPUSA event, Candace walked out of a private meeting with Charlie looking completely shaken. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't confront him. She just stared at him like she had just heard the most insane confession of her life. From that day on, the energy changed. Suddenly, Charlie stopped inviting her to certain top-level meetings. Suddenly, Candace stopped tagging him in posts. Suddenly, their teams, who once worked together, started operating like two rival camps who couldn't even agree on what snacks to put in the green room. It went from subtle shade to full-blown strategic distancing, And then things got darker. Multiple commentators have whispered for years that Charlie was involved in something unusual. Not illegal, not dangerous, but different. A pattern of late-night encrypted calls, trips that didn't show up on public itineraries, meetings with unknown consultants nobody recognized. People thought it was donor business or political strategy or just Charlie being overly dramatic. But there was one detail that always made people nervous. Why were some of these communications routed through servers that weren't even in the United States? Candace noticed it first. She even hinted at it once, in an interview where she paused mid-sentence, shook her head, and said, "Some people love pretending they're involved in things they shouldn't be involved in." At the time, everyone assumed she was talking about some random influencer. But now, after this leak, that clip has resurfaced on Twitter with millions of views and a single caption. She was talking about Charlie. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. Because Candace was quiet for a long time. She didn't expose anything. She didn't reveal anything. She just watched, observed, collected. And while she stayed silent, Charlie built up TPUSA into a massive machine with tentacles everywhere. Schools, colleges, political circles, corporate donors, private networks, and even media channels. But in the middle of all that expansion, Charlie made one fatal mistake. He underestimated how much Candace knew. Insiders who've been close to both of them say Candace kept receipts, screenshots, audio clips, stray emails, comments he made off camera, things he assumed she forgot, but she didn't. And now, those receipts are reportedly tied to something that no one, absolutely no one, ever expected. Foreign activity, foreign communication, foreign surveillance. One political strategist claimed that Candace recently received a document, not from an American source, but from outside the country. A file, small, encrypted, almost impossible to trace, that allegedly shows Charlie's name connected to an international monitoring system. Nothing illegal, nothing criminal, but extremely embarrassing and extremely suspicious for someone in his position. And when Candace saw the file, she didn't panic. She didn't hide it. She didn't warn Charlie. She waited. Waited for the exact moment Charlie would least expect it. Waited until she knew he couldn't prepare a counter-narrative. Waited until the political climate was loud, chaotic, and primed for maximum exposure. And then, last night, she pulled the trigger. First, a vague leak. Then a subtle reference. Then a direct blow. A single sentence that set the entire right-wing ecosystem on fire. Ask Charlie why he's suddenly terrified of overseas monitoring. Those words spread like wildfire, with people screenshotting, zooming in, decoding, and theorizing. And the craziest part? This isn't even the full story. According to one insider source, the file Candace has is only one of 3 pieces. She hasn't even released the most damaging part yet. She's holding it, waiting, watching Charlie try to recover, so she can hit him again. And trust me, what's in those other files might be the exact reason Charlie's team is allegedly scrambling to lock down his private accounts. Because foreign surveillance doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Someone had to trigger it. Someone had to flag it. Someone had to be involved. And Candace? She's about to explain exactly who and why. Everything changed the moment Candace dropped the second leak. Up until that point, people assumed she was bluffing, stretching a rumor, exaggerating a petty feud, stirring the pot like she always does. But at 2:14 a.m., when the world was half asleep and Charlie's PR team was probably still drafting a damage control paragraph, Candace unleashed something so specific, so surgical, so impossible to ignore, that even Charlie's closest allies reportedly froze in place. She released a screenshot, not a full one, not enough to give everything away, but just enough to expose one chilling, unmistakable detail. An international number, flagged by a foreign monitoring agency, listed under Charlie's name. The moment that cropped image leaked, everything exploded. People started pausing, zooming in, enhancing every pixel. Cyber sleuth accounts went into overdrive. Politicos who normally avoid drama suddenly jumped into the conversation. Even rival influencers, who spend most of their time dragging each other, went quiet for one single moment to stare at the same blurry screenshot that didn't even show the full document. And yet, it was enough. Because the metadata at the top corner, the weird code string, the foreign timestamp, they all pointed to one thing. Someone, somewhere outside the US, had flagged communication connected to Charlie Kirk. And now the question wasn't, is this real? The question was, why him? Why would anyone be watching him? At first, theories ran wild. Was it political opponents? A foreign journalist? Some weird activist group? But then a new rumor surfaced, one that turned this entire situation from messy to catastrophic. According to a DC-based digital analyst, the number Candace leaked didn't just show foreign tracking. It showed foreign involvement. The distinction matters. One means someone overseas is watching Charlie. The other means someone overseas is interacting with him. And that was the moment everything snapped. Because just minutes after Candace's leak began trending, someone anonymously dropped a voice note to a drama page titled The Kirk Archive Exposé. The voice note was only 6 seconds long, but those 6 seconds may have just rewritten everything people thought they knew about Charlie's behind-the-scenes behavior. A distorted voice said, "This wasn't accidental. He contacted them first." That single sentence set off a digital earthquake. Suddenly, people weren't accusing Charlie of being targeted. They were accusing him of participating. Screenshots began circulating, allegedly showing timestamps matching Charlie's recent travels, cities he claimed he never visited, airports he never mentioned. One screenshot even hinted at a private meeting in a European city he publicly denied ever going to. But the real chaos began when Candace posted again. This time, she didn't leak anything new. She didn't add context. She didn't clarify her previous post. She dropped just 3 words. Check the logs. That sent everyone spiraling. What logs? Travel logs? Call logs? Server logs? Encrypted message logs? Payment logs? Within minutes, thousands of people started digging through old TPUSA events, flight records, random podcasts, archived live streams, anything that might reveal a pattern Candace was pointing to. And then, someone found it. A clip from 2 years ago. One so insignificant at the time that it barely got noticed. Charlie was on a live stream, rambling about global influence, and he slipped, just for half a second. He mentioned a foreign consultant by name. Someone whose identity was never confirmed. Someone with ties to a private intelligence firm based overseas. The moment that clip resurfaced, everything changed. People connected dots. Some real, some exaggerated, all terrifying. Influencers reacted instantly. So this wasn't new? Has he been talking to them for years? Was this the meeting Candace discovered? But the worst blow came from someone unexpected. A former TPUSA staffer who anonymously DM'd a political gossip page with a chilling message. "We always knew Charlie had another channel of communication. We just didn't know who was on the other end." That message hit like a bullet, because this was the first time anyone from inside Charlie's organization hinted at knowing something was off. And then the floodgates opened. Former interns, ex-employees, old collaborators, anonymous burner accounts. They all began sharing strange, isolated, suspicious moments that now suddenly made sense. Mysterious late-night calls. Charlie took backstage. Unexplained disappearances during conferences. Staff being asked to wipe devices. Private messages that vanished minutes after being sent. A locked briefcase Charlie kept with him everywhere, even during interviews. A consultant from abroad who appeared once and was never seen again. Every little thing turned into a clue. Every minor detail transformed into evidence. Every rumor evolved into a narrative. And through it all, Candace watched in silence, not stopping the speculation, not correcting it, not stepping back. She was letting it burn. But here's where everything takes a terrifying turn. Because while the world was still dissecting the screenshot, the travel rumors, and the consultant clip, someone leaked a new detail, something not even Candace posted. A digital security volunteer who claims to monitor foreign cyber activity in political spheres posted, "This isn't surveillance, it's a response." Meaning, whatever got flagged overseas, whatever caught foreign attention, whatever triggered monitoring, came from Charlie. And the second that theory gained traction, Charlie's entire world reportedly went into absolute chaos. Sources claim his team started issuing quiet takedowns. Phone numbers were changed, accounts went private, assistants were told not to answer questions, lawyers were looped in immediately. But it was already too late, because Candace was preparing her next strike. And it wasn't just a leak, it wasn't just a screenshot, it wasn't just a hint. It was a bombshell that would take this from scandal to something that could fracture Charlie's entire empire. And what she reveals next? It doesn't just involve Charlie. It involves someone close to him. Someone who had no idea they were being dragged into all this. Someone who may unknowingly hold the key to the entire foreign surveillance mystery. Everything felt like it was already spiraling out of control. But no one had any idea that the real explosion hadn't even happened yet. Because while Charlie's team was scrambling, deleting, blocking, tightening access, and begging reporters not to run with unverified rumors, Candace Owens was sitting on something far bigger, something so personal, so unexpected, so deeply entangled in Charlie's private world that even longtime insiders couldn't believe she actually went there. And she didn't ease into it. She didn't soften the blow. She didn't even give a warning. At 4:03 a.m., when most of America was still sleeping through the chaos she caused, Candace posted a short, cryptic voice note that instantly shook every corner of political Twitter. A simple, calm sentence. It wasn't just Charlie. Someone else was involved, and they didn't know they were being watched. That was it. No names, no details. Just that knife-sharp statement that instantly triggered alarms everywhere. Because if you heard that, who's the first person you'd think of? His wife? His staff? His donors? His political contacts? His silent partners? The speculation was intense, but Candace wasn't talking. She posted that single voice note, logged off, and disappeared. And the silence made everything worse. Because within minutes, the leaks began. Not from Candace this time, but from people terrified she was about to expose them next. A whistleblower account with a long history of dropping verified behind-the-scenes information tweeted something that stopped the entire timeline. The foreign monitoring wasn't focused on Charlie. He just showed up because of someone else connected to him. In seconds, theories exploded. Was it a board member? A senior TPUSA strategist? A secret donor from outside the country? An assistant caught up in something bigger? Someone using Charlie's number without permission? But then a different account, someone who previously leaked private TPUSA payroll documents, wrote, "This involves a family member. That's all I'm saying." That changed everything. Family? Which family? Immediate? Extended? Marriage? Siblings? Someone older? Younger? The panic became electric. People were now terrified on Charlie's behalf. But the real moment, the true ignition point, came 2 hours later when a private Telegram group that's known for exposing political receipts dropped a message that no one saw coming. They posted a blurred image. Not of Charlie, not of Candace, not even of a document. It was a timestamp. A timestamp that matched the exact date Charlie traveled for a TPUSA summit last year. Only one problem. That timestamp wasn't American. It wasn't European. It wasn't domestic at all. It was from an intelligence monitoring server based in the Middle East. And it was tagged cross-contact flag. People went insane. Because that term, cross-contact flag, isn't normal. It's not public. It's not something random trolls would know. It's language used in international intelligence monitoring systems for someone who accidentally interacts with a foreign target that is already being watched. Meaning, the foreign surveillance Candace hinted at, the tracking, the flagged number, the encrypted communications, it may not have been triggered by Charlie at all. He may have been caught up in someone else's mess, without even knowing it. And that's when the theories took a terrifying turn. People started asking, who did Charlie talk to abroad? Who was he meeting without security? Who was he messaging through that encrypted channel? But the scariest question of all, who in Charlie's life is connected to a foreign target? Because if the monitoring wasn't aimed at him, if he was just caught in the cross pattern, then someone close to him was already a subject. And that's when Candace returned. Calm, soft-voiced, collected. She posted another short message, not even 10 words long. Charlie knows exactly who I'm talking about. That was the punch. Because the moment she said that, Charlie's entire digital footprint went into absolute meltdown. Old videos disappeared. Mentions of certain people were wiped. A family-related podcast episode went offline. A blog page with archived photos of Charlie and a specific relative suddenly redirected to an error screen. A private Instagram that hadn't been touched in years was suddenly deleted. A donor list that was once public became password protected. People who had nothing to do with the drama suddenly started locking down their accounts as if they were afraid of something leaking next. And for 45 minutes, the entire internet was buzzing with one question. Who was Charlie hiding? But Candace didn't give the name. Not yet. Instead, she posted something worse. A blurred audio clip, 7 seconds long. The sound of a woman's voice. Talking fast, whispering, scared, like she was saying something she didn't want overheard. You couldn't make out words. You couldn't identify the speaker. You couldn't confirm anything. But you could tell one thing. The voice wasn't Candace. And it wasn't Charlie. It was someone close, someone emotionally connected to him, someone who knew they were talking about something dangerous. And then, over the audio clip, Candace typed one sentence. This is who he should be explaining. Twitter collapsed. A dozen accounts claimed they recognized the voice. Some pointed to a family member. Some suggested a former staffer. Some claimed it matched someone Charlie traveled with overseas last year. One account even posted a theory that the voice belonged to a person who has been quietly removed from TPUSA's public circles. But the truth? No one knew for sure, because Candace wasn't trying to explain anything. She was trying to pressure someone. And it worked. Within minutes, the person people suspected most suddenly posted a cryptic message on Instagram. Please respect my privacy. This is not what it looks like. That post lasted 14 minutes before being deleted, but screenshots were already saved, shared, analyzed, reposted, magnified. And suddenly, everyone was pointing fingers at the same person Charlie protected. The same person Charlie refused to let the media question. The same person who traveled with him during the exact timeline Candace hinted at. The same person whose voice allegedly matched the blurred clip. And the pressure built so high, so fast, so violently, that Charlie himself had no choice but to respond. But his response didn't calm anything down. In fact, it triggered the biggest meltdown of the entire scandal. Because Charlie didn't deny the leak. He didn't deny the foreign tag. He didn't deny the overseas contact. All he said was, stop dragging people who aren't involved. That one sentence made everything worse, because it confirmed two things. One, someone is involved. Two, and Charlie knows exactly who it is. And now the internet wants one thing: the name. The name Candace is holding. The name she's waiting to drop. The name Charlie is terrified of being exposed. The name connected to the foreign surveillance. The name hidden behind that voice clip. The name tied to the timestamp. The name Charlie tried desperately to protect. And Candace? Oh, she's preparing to reveal it. Not with a message, not with a screenshot, not with a hint, but with a full leak. A leak that, according to one insider, will rip open the entire story and show exactly how Charlie got entangled in something way bigger than he ever expected. And the craziest part? This leak doesn't just involve Charlie. It involves the US. It involves political networks. It involves a foreign entity. It involves someone who never wanted to be exposed. And it involves a mistake made years ago that has finally come back to destroy everything. The moment Candace hinted she was ready to drop the full name, the internet didn't just react. It detonated. Within seconds, every corner of social media was screaming, shaking, refreshing, dissecting, guessing, accusing, and arguing like the fate of the country depended on it. And honestly, the reactions were so massive, so chaotic, so violently divided, it felt like the entire digital world had snapped in half. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, every platform instantly turned into a battlefield. Influencers went live. Political hosts cleared their schedules. Fan pages switched from memes to crisis mode. Conspiracy accounts began drawing digital diagrams like they were solving a national security case. Screenshots flew across every group chat, and Slack channels and media companies reportedly sounded like fire alarms going off. This wasn't drama anymore. This was a moment. The kind of moment people will reference for years. Because everyone had the same desperate question. Who is Candace talking about? But before Candace could even reveal more, the reactions themselves became their own wildfire. TikTok meltdown. Within minutes, TikTok had over 40,000 videos under the hashtag #CharlieKirkLeak. Creators were stitching Candace's voice note, breaking down foreign surveillance terms, replaying Charlie's old live streams, dramatically acting out the alleged voice clip, zooming in on the timestamp leaks, analyzing micro-expressions from old interviews, accusing everyone Charlie had ever been seen with a viral TikTok with 2.3 M views, showed a creator pacing in her room yelling, "Wait, if the surveillance wasn't about Charlie, then who the hell were they watching?" Another creator drew a giant timeline on their wall saying, "This matches a meeting he lied about. We caught him in 4K." TikTok wasn't just reacting, it was investigating. And the theories kept multiplying like wildfire. Instagram goes into hysteria. Instagram was worse, way worse. Big commentary pages with millions of followers started dropping posts every 5 minutes, each more dramatic than the last. One page posted a side-by-side photo. Left, Candace. Right, Charlie. Caption: one of them is lying. One of them is terrified, and we're about to find out which one. Another page, known for celebrity gossip, not politics, suddenly jumped in with, "This feels bigger than a feud. This feels like somebody in Charlie's life is about to be exposed." Comments blew up. "Name her. If it's who I think it is, Charlie is done. Candace doesn't play with receipts. This is giving national security vibes. Wait, why is a family member involved?" Even verified influencers, people who usually avoid political mess, started dropping eyeball emojis under every post. Instagram was foaming at the mouth for the reveal. Reddit turned into the CIA. If TikTok is emotional chaos and Instagram is dramatic chaos, Reddit is organized chaos. Users in political subreddits began matching travel dates, mapping Charlie's old speeches, tracking his known foreign contacts, referencing obscure pieces of legislation, listing every family member and staff member he traveled with, analyzing foreign intelligence procedures, checking public diplomatic meeting logs, identifying voice frequencies from the blurred clip, drawing out detailed theories that looked like graduate-level dissertations. One top Reddit comment with 28K upvotes said, "Candace is hinting at someone very, very close to him. And if the foreign monitoring caught them, Charlie was just collateral damage." Another Redditor posted a long breakdown titled, "The Real Person Candace is Aiming At, and Why Charlie is Terrified." People were treating this leak like it was a geopolitical puzzle. And the worst part? Some of their theories were starting to look alarmingly convincing. Twitter X was a collision zone. Twitter was a nuclear zone of chaos. Politicians jumped in. Commentators picked sides. Journalists pretended they weren't watching while obviously watching. Even celebrities, who never comment on Charlie or Candace, tweeted vague reactions like, "What is happening on political Twitter tonight? Someone is about to be exposed. I shouldn't be laughing, but OMG." One political comedian tweeted, "Foreign surveillance? Bro, what was Charlie doing, applying for a James Bond internship?" But things got much darker when a former TPUSA contributor tweeted, "I warned them years ago that one person in that circle was compromised. Nobody listened." That tweet was screenshotted over 400,000 times. And the next one was even worse. "Candace isn't bluffing. If she drops the name, I think she will. It's over." Over? For who? Charlie? For TPUSA? For someone else? No one knew, which only made the frenzy worse. YouTube goes full investigation mode. Big commentary channels immediately started going live. One host said, "This isn't just drama. This is the biggest political influencer scandal in years, and it's not over, not even close." Another channel with 3M subscribers said, "If Candace drops the name I think she's hinting at, this could break conservative media in half." Live chats were flying at 500 messages per second. People were begging for the reveal. The industry starts panicking. This part is where things got serious. Reportedly, multiple conservative organizations sent internal messages advising staff, "Do not comment publicly on the Charlie-Candace situation." Why? Because they were terrified the name Candace was about to drop could implicate people across multiple networks. A leak from a TPUSA-adjacent staffer said, "People are freaking out. Charlie isn't worried about himself. He's worried about the one person Candace is targeting." That was the chilling shift. Not worried about the leak. Not worried about the story. Not worried about foreign surveillance. Worried about one person. One specific individual Candace has cornered. Candace breaks her silence again. After hours of silence, hours of letting the internet tear each other apart, Candace posted one new message. A single sentence. "You all will know the truth by tomorrow." That message hit the internet like a meteor. People started setting alarms. Drama channels scheduled emergency live streams. Twitter accounts queued up threads. Everyone was ready. But then, an unexpected twist hit the internet like a sucker punch. A verified insider posted, "Candace isn't dropping the name tomorrow, she's dropping the proof." And everyone knew what that meant. This wasn't a rumor anymore. This wasn't a feud. This wasn't speculation. This was about to become a headline, a scandal, a career-ending revelation, a national conversation. But the most terrifying part? The person at the center of this, the one Candace is allegedly aiming to expose, still has not spoken. No statement, no denial, no message, no appearance. A silence that loud means only one thing. They're scared. Very, very scared. And the next section reveals why they should be. Everything up to this point felt explosive. But the real destruction hadn't even started. Because while the internet was melting down, celebrities were reacting, Commentators were theorizing, and Charlie's inner circle was begging him to go offline. Candace was quietly preparing the strike that would take this scandal from a global frenzy to a career-ending firestorm. And the person at the center of it? The one Candace has been hinting toward? The one Charlie is desperately trying to protect? The one everyone online is trying to identify? They were about to become the centerpiece of the final devastating twist. Because Candace didn't just have a name. She didn't just have a screenshot. She didn't just have a blurred audio clip. She had something no one expected. A full foreign security note tied to Charlie's private life. And what was in that note changed everything. The dark discovery. At 11:58 p.m., right before the world hit midnight, Candace broke her silence with a message that immediately sent shockwaves. He didn't know they were being monitored. People lost it. Wait, he didn't know? Then who did know? Who was secretly on the radar? Who was the actual target of the surveillance? The one who dragged Charlie into a foreign intelligence file without him realizing it. But Candace wasn't done. 20 minutes later, she posted a second message. They used his number, not his device. That revelation hit the entire scandal like a steel wrecking ball. Because that could only mean one thing. Someone with direct, intimate access to Charlie used something that belonged to him to contact a foreign-monitored individual. And suddenly, every theory people thought they understood was blown apart. This wasn't about Charlie talking to someone overseas. This wasn't about him being tracked. This wasn't about suspicious travel. This was about someone else, someone close to him, using his number, his access, his identity, without him knowing what they were getting him wrapped up in. And that meant the entire foreign surveillance issue wasn't triggered by Charlie at all. It was triggered by someone in Charlie's inner circle. Who is this person? That was the million-dollar question. And while the world tried to piece it together, a new leak emerged. Not from Candace, but from a foreign policy researcher who claimed he had seen similar monitoring patterns before. His tweet went viral instantly. This type of tag only appears when a foreign person of interest communicates with someone embedding themselves inside a political organization. Communicates with someone embedding themselves? Everyone froze. Because that wording didn't sound like a random family member, or a friend, or a staffer making a mistake. It sounded like infiltration. Someone close to Charlie. Someone with access. Someone who could use his identity channels. May have been in contact with a foreign entity that intelligence was already watching. Meaning, Charlie wasn't involved. Charlie wasn't guilty. Charlie wasn't the one being targeted. He was the collateral damage of someone else's secret communication. And Candace? Candace knew exactly who that person was. The leaked foreign note. At 1:17 a.m., a foreign affairs page dropped what looked like a redacted security snippet. It contained a date, which matched Charlie's TPUSA travel year. A flag category marked cross-link contact. A US number, digits blurred. A description. Domestic associate linked through shared access channel. People screamed when they saw the phrase domestic associate. Because intelligence agencies use that term for spouses, romantic partners, live-in companions, household members, extremely close personal contacts. In other words, this wasn't a staffer. This wasn't a donor. This wasn't a consultant. This was someone in Charlie's personal life, someone he trusted, someone who had intimate access to his devices, someone who could use his number without raising suspicion, which meant the biggest twist of all had just dropped. Charlie's entire scandal wasn't caused by him, but by the private actions of someone he protected. The voice clip returns. Remember the 7-second blurred audio clip Candace posted earlier? The one with the woman whispering urgently? A TikTok creator enhanced the audio and isolated parts of the waveform. One distorted fragment became clear. Didn't think they were tracking. Not, I didn't think. Not, you didn't think. They. Meaning, multiple people may have been involved. And now the internet was convinced. Candace's real target. The person Charlie is trying to shield, the person intelligence flagged, is the woman in that audio. A woman who had access, a woman who had reason. A woman who may not have known the foreign entity was being monitored. A woman whose actions accidentally created a cross-contact that pulled Charlie directly into a foreign database. And the most chilling theory? This was someone Charlie trusted more than anyone. The panic inside Charlie's Circle Bellwether staff leaks began pouring out after the twist hit. One insider wrote, "He's not worried about political fallout. He's worried about what this means for her." Another said, "Everything he did today was to keep one person out of the narrative." And the strongest leak of all, Candace isn't exposing Charlie. She's exposing the person he would sacrifice his reputation to protect. That changed the entire emotional tone of the scandal. Because this wasn't about politics anymore. This was personal, intimate, deep, dangerous. The final twist. At 3:02 a.m., Candace dropped her final message of the night. "If he doesn't tell the truth, I will." The internet immediately erupted. This wasn't a hint. This wasn't a tease. This was a countdown, a direct, vicious ultimatum. Charlie had hours, maybe minutes, to decide whether he'd reveal the real person behind the foreign contact scandal, or let Candace pull the trigger herself. And the craziest part? People close to Charlie claim he already knows exactly what's about to happen. One insider wrote, "He's preparing for the fallout, not for himself, for her." And now the world is waiting, refreshing, speculating, obsessing. Because if Candace drops that name, it won't just ruin a reputation. It will detonate a truth Charlie has been hiding for years. A truth that could fracture his personal life, his public image, his organization, and shock the political world in a way we've never seen before. And the cliffhanger? Candace goes live tomorrow, and she's bringing the receipts. And listen, before you click away, before you scroll, before you move on to the next video, you need to pause for a second and understand something. What we're witnessing right now isn't normal drama. This isn't some influencer beef that dies in a week. This is a political earthquake in slow motion, and the aftershocks haven't even started yet. Candace Owens has drawn a line in the sand. Charlie Kirk is cornered in a way he's never been before. And someone very close to him is sitting on a secret that could destroy everything once it drops. You just watched the entire internet spiral into chaos in real time. And the craziest part? We still don't know the full truth. But here's where you come in. I need you, yes, you sitting right there, to tell me what you think. Do you believe Candace actually has the proof she claims? Do you think Charlie is hiding someone or protecting them? Do you think the foreign surveillance was a mistake, a setup, or something far more intentional? Drop your theories in the comments right now because trust me, there is no wrong answer when a scandal is this massive and this unpredictable. Every comment pushes this story further into the algorithm, and the more voices we have debating it, the faster the truth surfaces. And if you've been hooked on every twist, every leak, every whispered detail, make sure you hit that like button so more people see what's really happening. Turn on notifications, because the next update could drop in minutes, hours, or the moment Candace goes live. And you absolutely do not want to miss what she's about to reveal next. We are inches away from the name, the receipts, and the fallout that could shatter an entire political circle. Stay here. Stay locked in. Because this story is far from over. And when the truth breaks, you'll want to be the first to know. Subscribe now, because the next chapter is coming, and it's going to be worse than anything you've seen so far.